In Singapore, we link success to performance. If success comes at the cost of your emotional connection to your child, you might choose differently.
I have seen children, they tag their self-esteem to their academic grades. So if they don't score a score that is good enough, they feel that they're not good enough.
So many times, this pressure for academic excellence and test scores performance falls when no one really says it. Actually, it falls on the shoulders of the moms. We are not just raising our children, we are also raising ourselves.
You're doing the best you can, and I think that's all that really, really matters.
This is In Mother Words, a podcast talking about mothering in a world that often asks too much of us. In Singapore, we have a huge pressure to succeed academically, and often in the process of succeeding academically, we forget the emotional aspect, not just for the child, but also for the mom, because this pressure becomes undue pressure that we put on ourselves. We have today here Marilyn, who is an educator, a mother to a bright and curious 6-year-old girl, and also a recent founder of a pickleball community called Arte. So she's passionate about education, about sports, and about mothering and bringing up your child in a holistic manner. So Marilyn, I would love to start us off with asking, what's one thing you thought you'll never do as a parent, but you are currently doing?
I think that's a very good question. Okay, before I was a mom, I used to think that when I have a kid, my kid will not cry on the plane, or my kid will not throw a tantrum in the supermarket or restaurant. I thought that, no, I'm not going to let that happen to me. But sometimes life is really unpredictable. I have a 6-year-old strong-willed child, and I have experienced supermarket meltdowns, plane meltdowns, and restaurant meltdowns. So whatever that I thought I would not ever do, turned out I did.
Oh my gosh. So my husband, he was like, no, our son is going to sit at the table and drink tea like this. And I'm like, okay, good luck.
Yeah, so whatever you envision it to be, nope. Life just throws lemons at you, right?
Yeah, I would love to rewind back a little bit. Growing up in Singapore, what are some of the messages do you feel that we absorb at a young age, like the messages and the expectations and that society is telling us?
I think one of the very common ones that I grew up hearing all the time, as well as even in today's day and age, is if you don't study hard, you don't get a good job when you grow up. I think this is a common thing across my 10 over years of teaching experience that I've heard my students say, as well as myself growing up.
And I guess these ideas came from when our parents came perhaps maybe from a different country, right? I mean, in Singapore and Malaysia, people came and they had nothing and they had to work hard.
Yes.
So their idea of success was very hard work driven,
Yes.
and they very much wanted to hold this idea and pass it down so that we don't have to suffer.
Exactly.
But in the end, now when things are more balanced and we have moved up in society, our mental thinking is still yet to catch up a little bit, you know?
You're
Like,
right. You're right to say that. I mean, I can understand when parents say this to their children. They come from a place of love, that every parent wants the best for their child, right? So I can understand why they say that. But from a kid's perspective, they just can't connect the dot.
they don't know.
Yes.
That world that we have in our minds do not exist for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so but if you are talking about our children, as you brought up our kids, what do you think is expected of them from a very young age, from what you see, to be successful, of course?
Yes, I think in terms of our society, success is still very academically driven. Is my child able to write at the age of 5? When they are 6, almost about to go to P1, can they read? Can they write in full sentences? Are they able to, I don't know, do
From age
phonics?
of 5?
Yes, 5, 6 onwards.
So for you, you would see this inner tug of war, right? That most parents feel. Like you want them to be successful academically, but you also see the emotional well-being as being an important aspect of a child's growth.
Exactly.
So how do you, like, have you ever felt this tug of war, and and how do you manage the balancing act?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, I have a strong-willed child, so whenever I try to sit her down to do a bit of reading or writing, oh, there will be pushback and there'll be fighting back. So most of the time people say, oh, you're a teacher and educator. I'm sure you can teach your own child, but it's a whole different story when you teach your own child because they know how to test the boundaries with you. So on hindsight, as she's like pushing back with me while I try to emphasize that reading and writing is still important and counting, I think what I do differently is I validate her emotions. Yes, I sit her down and I talk to her and tell her, say, look, I know that you don't like to write. I know that you don't like to read because reading is hard for you. So when I do that validation with her, it helps her to feel seen, and that actually helps her to want to try a little bit more. And of course, I'm not looking for perfection that, at the end of it, she can read everything perfectly, right? But as long as she learns how to we recognize the progress that she's actually taking. And I think one thing that I'm doing with her is to just celebrate little steps. Whether she can recognize one Chinese word, I'll be like, oh, great, well done. Okay, let's try the next one, right?
In our culture here, I feel like we maybe unintentionally or intentionally prioritize performance over the emotional development of a child.
Exactly.
But what do you think the kids are then internalizing? Because we are at the moment they are having so much pressure. And what do you think kids will internalize? All they would think about is academic success.
Yes, correct.
And the emotional side will get neglected.
Oh, definitely, exactly. In my experience, I have seen children, they tag their self-esteem to their academic grades. So if they don't
And that's
score,
dangerous.
exactly. And so if they don't score a score that is good enough, they feel that they're not good enough.
The academic system as we know it only have like one or two ways to learn, right? So those who do not fit the bill will just get left behind. How do we then help those who learn differently feel good about themselves if they tag themselves to the academic scores that they achieve in school?
Okay, Steph, I think I got to be really, really honest here with you. I think at the end of the day, it really boils down to the parents, how we talk to the kids, the kind of messages we're telling them, the pressure that the parents are giving. I'll give you an example. I had this student, he wasn't academically inclined. So I taught him since he was primary one. And his mom knew that he wasn't academically inclined. And after he got his PSLE results, it wasn't good, okay, in society
to
terms.
standard.
Yeah, or up to standards or anything, right? So if like you get 20 points, people will be like, 20 points, that kind of thing. But I'm really, really amazed by the mom. She wasn't upset. She knew that her son was not academically inclined in that sense from young. So she just told her son, you know what, son, it's okay, because I know that you tried your best. So we will just choose a school that I think will really fit your growth. And
So nice to
yes,
hear.
yes, it's so nice. So the boy went into a school that they found was not bad, might suit his character and personality because he's more of an introverted child. So in the end, he's thriving. So he's doing his O levels this year and he is thriving in the school right now. He's in their informatics and robotics club. He's taken leadership roles. Yeah, so I can see his exponential growth there in terms of his self-esteem when the mom said that, you know what, it's okay. We just go for another school. And I believe that in Singapore, there are many children that are like that they may not be successful academically, but they are successful in other things, maybe in terms of sports, creativity,
arts.
yes, arts, that don't really fit into
The mold.
traditional
Yeah.
mold. Yes, exactly.
You work so closely with students. I think you are the best place to really tell us what kids actually need. What is something that you wish parents understood about how they support their kids to thrive, not just academically, but also in their emotional development?
Yeah, I think it's very important for parents to realize that we are our child's safe space. As much as sometimes the kid doesn't score the mark that we envision, right? Sometimes it's nice. I've seen a lot of parents doing that. There's been a shift. That a lot of parents are taking a step back and say that, yeah, you didn't score well, but it's okay. We try again. And that actually makes a lot of difference to the child because you're building growth mindset in your children. And at the same time, you're teaching them resilience and grit, to bounce back, right? It's okay that you didn't do well this time. We will try again and we will keep trying.
Yeah. And this brings the spotlight to the parents. And now in this episode, especially on the mothers. So many times there's pressure for academic excellence and performance, test scores, performance falls. When no one really says it, actually it falls on the shoulders of the moms, right?
Yes,
And have
exactly.
you noticed this happening all the
Yes.
time? They carry this burden, and then have to also deal with it themselves.
Exactly. I think a message that I want to tell to all the mummies out there is you don't have to be perfect. We are not perfect human beings.
Let's say that again. You don't have to be perfect.
Yes. And I think the message that I always drive across, even on my socials, is just be good enough. And what does it really mean to be good enough? I mean, at times we are human, we get mad, we get angry, and sometimes, we really lose it with our children because I really understand sometimes that they really push our buttons or, sometimes we just really lose it. And it's only human that we have the whole range of emotions. But I think what really matters at the end of the day is to rebuild that connection with the child. That, after all that emotions, we come back together and we say, like, hey, you know what? I think I lost it just now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And can we try that again? Or how can we do that better? And I think that makes a whole lot of difference, Steph.
It's not so easy to do that.
Yes,
I mean, you have
exactly.
to lay down your pride and you need to say that it's okay to make mistakes and to own and even admit that mistake. It's not so easy. And there's always that fine line, right? You need to be the one to have it all together.
Exactly.
And then you need to be the one to show that you can do it.
Correct. But I think when children, because children are very clever to size people up as
Of
well,
course.
right?
They can read us.
Yes. So I think when you portray your real self to your child and you show a little bit of vulnerability that, you know what, daddy, mommy make mistakes as well, then they realize that, hey, you know what, it's human. And for all you might know, you might just gain more respect at the end of the day.
I agree.
Yes, I think.
And it might bring you closer.
Exactly. Yes. So at the end of the day, I really feel that the parent and child connection is really, really, really strong. So I always have this message at the back of my mind that I always share with people is it's tough now, the connection you want to build with your child, but step back and see 5 or maybe 5 or 10 years down the road. When your child has problems in secondary school or in adult life, who will they go to share their problems with and seek a safe space or even seek advice? Will they go to your friends or will they come to you? I mean, most parents will want to say that, come to me. I don't know about other parents, but I would want my child to come to me and tell me about her problems, right? And at least like,
I would too.
oh
For
yeah,
sure.
hold space for her and help her to brainstorm whatever problems that she might actually face rather than seek advice from friends that we don't know who they are.
But Marilyn is so hard, right? Because in Singapore, in our culture, we link success to performance, to the test scores, right? And like if success does come at a cost, what would we actually do to give that up? Like, what's the price that we pay?
The emotional connection is something that I cannot emphasize enough between a parent and a child.
And for the moms listening now who feel like they're just trying to keep up, they're not good enough, and they're trying to strive for this perfection, what would you want her to hear?
I would tell that mom that, look, you're doing the best you can. And I think that's all that really, really matters. Yes, because you're giving your best every day. And some days you feel unseen, unheard, and you feel down and out. But I want to tell you today that every step of you just showing up every day means so much to your kids.
So there is a way to redefine what success look like. This is exactly our topic today. So if you were to realize that success comes at the cost of your emotional connection to your child, you might choose differently. You might choose to a different value, a different boundary. You might suddenly want to protect yourself and your child differently
Yes,
in how you show up
exactly.
from every day to day. And finally, if there's one thing you hope that your child carries into the future, beyond academics, beyond performance, what would it be and why?
I think the most important value or trait that I would want my child to carry across into her life and into adulthood would be resilience or grit. And for that to happen, sometimes we have to let the child fail and fall. And that will actually train their muscle memory to, learn how to stand up and walk again, or stand up and run, pick themselves up. So to build resilience and grit is not like just do lah, faster do, just continue. Sometimes it takes a lot of recognizing that your emotions, tuning into yourself, recognizing that, hey, I didn't do something right. What can I do better next? And I think one way to really train resilience or grit is through sports. Yeah, because sports, sometimes you don't
You cannot always
exactly.
win.
Yes, exactly. You can't always win, or sometimes you don't do
Sometimes you win,
well.
sometimes you lose.
Yes,
And you can't
exactly.
always get your way.
Yeah. And I think the idea here is to keep trying and don't give up.
I love what you said. I think what I would draw our attention to is, you know, how you were talking about allowing people to fail. I am very much reminded of the process of how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. So, if you help the caterpillar out of its cocoon in that cocoon stage, it will never become a butterfly.
Exactly.
In fact, it will become like stunted. It will just be a caterpillar its whole life, and it will never get a chance to fly. And when you think about this in hindsight, parents, then you would say, oh my gosh, I need to allow them to experience this hurt,
Yeah.
this feeling, and maybe experiencing it earlier on in life will give them the resilience they need when they become a teenager,
Exactly.
when they become a young adult, and before you throw them out of your house, if you throw them out of your house, probably not.
Exactly. You are so right on that, Steph. Yeah, I fully agree on that.
And for the moms, like, you know, this is something where we are not just raising our children, we are also raising ourselves. This is our moment when sometimes when our children fail, we think, oh my gosh, we also failed, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
and we think back to our own experience, and we sometimes push our parents backed by this fear rather than what is really happening in the present moment with our kids. So just being present and allowing yourselves to listen
Yes.
to your child and what your child actually needs, right?
I think there is shift in a lot of parenting mindsets that they start to see that academics is not everything. Yes, and
Yes.
I think
I'm so
that's great.
glad.
That's great that we start to realize that it's always never too late, right, Steph?
Never too late. Yes. Even if your child is a young adult and working, you can still have this emotional connection if you just make the effort and try.
Exactly. Yes, that's so true. Hi everyone, I'm Marilyn. I'm an educator with more than 10 years of teaching experience, and I'm also the co-founder of Ate Pickleball. So I started creating my own pickleball paddles. Yeah, I have a factory in China, and we decided to create a pickleball line for the ladies because black paddles sometimes just don't match our pretty activewear outfits. Yeah, so I decided to make one for the ladies, and Yes, I have a growing pickleball community, and every Friday we come for games together. So if you guys are free, come and join us. One thing that has changed in my family when we started playing pickleball, because pickleball was introduced to me by my husband, and then we dragged our 6-year-old along, was really resilience, you know? Like when my child couldn't hit the ball and she got super frustrated about it, I think that was a very good learning point for us to teach her that, hey, you know what, if you can't get it the first time round, it's okay, you just keep trying until you can get it. So she got really, really frustrated the first few times, but after she understood that the more she practiced, the better she got. Oh, now she's teaching the other kids that are coming on our weekend timings how to play pickleball as well. So she'll teach the other 6-year-olds or like 7 or 8-year-olds, you hold the ball like this and you hold, your pedal must be, you must hold it like that and not like that. And you hit it like that. It's so cute.
I hope this episode will be a reminder that we're not just raising successful kids, but also emotionally grounded human beings. And if you resonated with this, I hope that you will share this. I will see you in the next episode of In Motherhoods. Thanks for watching.